Okay, and our next speaker is, one moment please, Evelina Deyneka, who is from University of Paris 8 in France, and she is also joining us online. I have your presentation here.
Hello to everyone, my best greetings from Paris to the organizers and participants of the conference. Within the problematic field of this conference, Christian Philosophy Facing Naturalism, I would like to discuss the place of human being in the contemporary picture of the world, in which science and faith, science and religion, science and Christianity, Christian philosophy are still looking for mutual ways of rapprochement and to see what means are used to reach this goal and to what implications this is leading both sides. Why is a philosophical status of human being central to both Christian theology and natural sciences? Because to answer this question means to answer whether humans are the only metaphysical subjects on earth. And if so, on what criteria is their metaphysical uniqueness based? What particular features make humans unique? What is the substance of these particular features? What is the most adequate way to study human nature? What is the place of humans in the universe, and so on? And obviously, Christians and scientists do not answer in the same way. The place of mankind in the scientific and religious pictures of the world means to determine human ontology, whether it is naturalistic or supernatural, and to answer other questions about human origin, about possibility to study human mental states, about human uniqueness foundations, human uniqueness in respect to animals or to artificial intelligence and robotic entities. The recent appeal of Pope Francis to scientists, when he urged scientists to harmonize faith and science in their pursuit of truth, confirms this state of epistemological researchers. But the problem is that attempting to reduce the epistemological gap between faith and science has a series of obstacles and even failures. So the first approach, which could be distinguished, consists in filling the gap, and the second one in trying to bridge the gap. To fill the gap by trying to find physical correlates of specifically human, mental and spiritual phenomena, and here we will discuss two methodological failures when the way lies from theology to physiology, or vice versa, from physiology to theology, and in the second approach, when it comes to bridging the gap by operating a shift from the problem of human uniqueness to the problem of humanness. And here there are some particular anthropological failures, from atheism to neo-animalism and from physicalism to neo-animism. The first example concerns one town with the experience of trying to find natural confirmation of miracles, and Dr. Alessandra De Francesis, who works in Lourdes. Lourdes is a town, a well-known town in France, the place of pilgrimage. So there is an office of medical finding in this place, where health professionals can come and participate in examining medical records when there is a claim for miracle. If a claimed miracle seems legitimate and the person is in Lourdes, there are a series of criteria. The disease must be serious and impossible to cure by current human means, as well as not be in a stage of liable to remission. The cure must be instantaneous, complete, permanent, and so on. But the problem is that there is a remark that medically, that when the Bureau follows the Lambertini's criteria to declare if a cure is spontaneous, and if it is associated with the presence of the person in Lourdes, with the pilgrimage, with the prayer, and so on, is medically unexplainable according to current medical knowledge. What means what means that if it is possible that in future medical science will evolve and there will be another natural explanation, physical, medical explanation, physiological explanation of this miracle. So the recognition of the miracle in some sense is not definite. The second one, the second example concerns neurotheology, a branch of neurosciences or of theology. In this theory, studies aimed at investigating the correlation between the neural activity of the human brain and various phenomena related to the sphere of religious practices and mystical experiences, such as meditation, prayer, spiritual awe, ecstatic trance, mystical religious spiritual experience, sudden enlightenment, and so on. And a series of rather controversial theories was produced by scholars. For example, it is known God Helmet by Michael Persinger, a tool, a kind of tool instrument which pretends to measure the brain activity while trying to find some traces, physical traces of relevant mystical experience or meditation and so on. Also, there were other suggestions to consider God's spot in the brain, and this is not very clear neither. The main problem is of methodological order, as it was emphasized by Professor Bremer in his book Interdisciplinary Meaning of Interdisciplinary Importance of Neurosciences. Even the most sophisticated neuroscience cannot tell us anything about God, as the object of brain research is humans, not God. As for the failures of anthropological order, they concern the attempts to eliminate any supernatural elements from the picture of the world. And in this case, like in Nietzschean Zarathustra spoke thus, as he wrote, what is great in man is what he is a bridge and not an end, concerning the bridging the epistemological gap. Man is a rope tied between beast and overman. What is the ape to man? A laughing stock or a painful embarrassment, and man shall be just that for the overman, a laughing stock or a painful embarrassment. But the problem is that there is something in human beings that if you eliminate some supernatural entity in their mind, if you suggest another picture of the world, atheistic one, they need some kind of a substitute, and it is very interesting to see how many videos on YouTube about monkeys, about macaques, which are presented as being like humans, and the reaction of people is embarrassing. Puka, it is the name of this monkey, so you can read the comments of people who visit this page. Puka opens his eyes and automatically his wheels start turning, planning out his daily activities. Who would not want a cute fur baby who's as thoughtful and sweet as Puka? So it is incredible how people need to project their subjectivity on somebody, and even if scientists, scholars tell them at school that people came from animals, they are trying to find something supernatural in the relation to animals, to animate them, to find soul, spirituality in monkeys, in and even in non-living beings, such as carriers, automatic carriers. Zdrogi, sledge, Pashik, Jedzie, get out of the way, Pashik is coming. If it was animated natural being. So in our contemporary world, when we are surrounded by robotic entities, computers, artificial intelligence, and so on, we are living a kind of shift from human ontology to human-like phenomenology. And there is a series of scientific works which are trying to suggest an idea, who argue that immanent human abilities could find their symmetrical equivalents in animals and even in artificial intelligence as functional capacities. So mind has as equivalent consciousness, reason becomes cognitive abilities, rationality, logical thinking, language, communication, labor, cooperation, invention and creation of tools may be substituted by finding, adapting, and using tools, religious practices by ritual behavior, art by creativity, culture and civilization by intergenerational transfer of acquired experience and skills, compassion by empathetic attitude, and so on. So there are many examples that scholars, scientists are trying to demonstrate to confirm this idea that there is no qualitative radical difference between human rationality, human ability to solve problems, human understanding physics, straight walking, classifying objects and categorization skills, mental mapping abilities, and one of the most bright and incredible examples was in 1980s, Cracow, the talking gorilla, who could understand about 2,000 spoken English words and could communicate about 1,000 words using hand signs, and even create some new concepts like mask by using a combination of signs meaning head and eyes. And even the most human abilities or properties or features like self-awareness, self-recognition in the mirror, ritual behavior, burial, mourning, ability to perceive others as themselves, and the ability on which compassion is based. Even some production paintings may be viewed of apes, may be viewed as abstract art, as some scientists trying to prove that monkeys, that apes are able of expressing their mood, their humor, their feelings in painting. And even the famous Turing test was realized with GPT-4 this year. That is to say, people were unable to distinguish GPT-4 from humans in their communication. So this shift from human uniqueness, which refers to human ontology, to humanness, which refers to human phenomenology, is based on this mutual rapprochement between religious picture of the world and scientific picture of the world. Traditionally, human uniqueness is being defined as distinctive, immanent characteristics, traits, and abilities that set humans apart from other species. This involves language skills, thinking and reasoning, self-awareness, and so on, so on, social complexity, and many other features. And unlike human uniqueness, which highlights the traits that distinguish humans from other species, humanness, this new term suggested by philosophers to name the phenomenological human-like abilities, traits and characteristics, which highlights the traits that distinguish men from other species. Humanness encompasses the essence of being human on a deeper, more universal level as a quality or state, probably temporary, or which is not based on the same biological and mechanical processes. Such a shift from ontological humanness to phenomenological humanness seems to be a part of the trend born in 70s, 80s towards further liberalization of human identity in many various plans, meanings, and directions as a struggle against dehumanizing practices or as a development of anthropomorphizing tendencies. Thus, in France, in 80s, two former professors of physical education, Rosette Mariscotti and Yves Gineste, have forged the concept humanitude that centers around the quality of being human in terms of how individuals interact with one another, particularly in caregiving settings, and they based their theory on four pillars, working with gaze, word, touch, and verticality. Another interesting publication, the article Reasoning about Human Enhancement Towards a Folk Psychological Model of Human Nature and Human Identity. The authors of this article suggest to distinguish human uniqueness, personhood, human nature, humanhood, and humanness. So they define human uniqueness as a sense of humanness involving qualities that distinguish humans from non-human animals. And as for humanness, they define it as a broad term that refers to the quality or state of being human, phenomenologically. What implications for harmonizing, for trying to harmonize faith and science from all these problematics? From the viewpoint of Christian ethics, there is no problem. Love your neighbor as yourself. The writers care for the needs of their animals, so there is no contradiction. But as for Christian theology and anthropology, there is a problem because, however, humans are considered to have something which differs them from animal world or from non-animal entities, artificial entities. Let us make man in our image after our likeness, so there is link with some supernatural. You shall not make for yourself an idol or any likeness. This can be interpreted as for robotics and so on. If we argue that there is an ontological difference, qualitative difference between animals and humans, and if we reserve to humans their unique place, unique metaphysical place in this world, probably the only qualitative ontological difference between humans and all other living beings and artificial entities is rooted in our inherent unique ability to, on the contrary, not to perceive others as ourselves, but on the contrary, our unique ability to alienate or mentally duplicate our individual entity, our subjectivity, to realize, recognize, and accept its existence and permanent presence, existential intersubjectivity. Probably humans were created precisely by their ability to think about God and spiritually experience His manifestations. In this perspective, harmonized faith and science would mean to come to terms with the fact that the human mind is a blind spot in the self-awareness of embodied consciousness. To meet God means to look into the abyss of this blind spot and become human. This could lead to very interesting implications for psychiatry. For example, in this optic, it could be seen that many psychiatric diseases, disturbances, are not based on the schism in the psychic activity, but on the contrary, on the inability to cope with the natural alienation which is in the base of our human, but specifically human consciousness. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your presentation again and for your answers.
Thank you.